Hello everyone, as always I'm Vlad Sparastoria and I know things about shooting. Today we're reviewing this amazing optic which I discovered at the recent International Waffenausstellung fair. If you don't know what International Waffenausstellung is, watch my video about it. It's Europe's largest firearms fair. But at that very fair, I went to visit the Vector Optics booth. A company we've already seen on the channel which produces good quality red dot optics at a great price. In fact, they're quickly becoming perhaps the most important competitors in the field of aiming systems when it comes to value for money. And one thing that particularly impressed me at that booth was this optic. I immediately wrote to my contact saying, look, there are a lot of nice things, but above all, I absolutely want to try this one because I was so impressed. In the world of variable zoom optics, which this is, let's take a closer look. There's a very important concept called the focal plane. Optics can be first focal plane or second focal plane. Usually the first focal plane is more appreciated by shooters, but it has a problem. It's much more expensive to make a first focal plane optic. It costs a lot more. And when I saw this first focal plane optic and asked for the suggested price, I was truly amazed. Because I looked through the lens, I saw a beautiful lens with excellent optics, and I couldn't believe that such technology could cost so little. Let's go step by step. First, we need to closely examine this optic and zero it in on this L101 in 308, so we know it shoots straight and then we can better appreciate its features. The scope obviously comes in this package. I've already mounted it, also because properly leveling the scope, as they say, making sure it's straight, is a relatively long process. Now we need to zero the scope. How do we do that? We do it using these turrets in quarter-minute of angle clicks, until we find the point where the rifle, in relation to the scope, shoots straight. Once this adjustment is made, normally first focal plane scopes don't need to be adjusted anymore to find, for example, the correct drop when shooting at the right distance. Because on the reticle, let me show you a little better. They have several holdovers. And the beauty of a first focal plane optic, the whole point of having a first focal plane optic is that this image zooms in together with the zoom itself. In other words, once I've established what my reference points are, my so-called holdovers, regardless of which zoom I'm using, they'll always be valid. Unlike a second focal plane optic, which, when you zoom in, leaves the image. Let's say the reticle stays unchanged, so if I find a holdover at 6x, it won't be the same at 1x. I'm not sure if I explained myself clearly. This property of changing the reticle image along with the zoom to keep it proportionally the same is the main feature of first focal plane optics. They adapt to the change in distance, or rather to the change in the optic's zoom. Very, very, very good. You can use the optic at any zoom. And know that your references regarding distance or, for example, wind, how much the bullet drops and how much it shifts remain the same. Now, to better appreciate the optic. Sorry if the camera isn't perfectly aligned, but do you know what I came up with to mount it this way? Now at this moment we have the 1x, and with the 1x we have a big circle and a small circle inside, as you can see. Let's see the magic as you zoom in. The field of view narrows, but that's just the camera effect. Watch how, when I zoom in, the big circle, let's say the red one, disappears. There's a smaller one in the center. And all the dots appear in the holdover. Again, don't mind if you might see a black ring, because this is a matter of focal distance, meaning how far your eye is from the camera itself, from the optic itself. It's clearly easier to adjust this with your eye than with the camera. Sorry if it's not perfect, but it gives you the idea. Do you think it could work? The zoom, and you see that the reticle gets zoomed in. Together with the magnification, so the reference dots I have stay exactly the same. Because that circle is always the same size relative to the target. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it well, since it zooms with the image. This is the great feature of first focal plane optics. But, as I said, first we need to check that it shoots straight. So let's put on our headphones and try a target first. We're about 40 meters away. That's the maximum I can use. But for a straight zeroing, that's more than enough. Can I insert the magazine like this?
We're shooting regular military surplus, nothing unusual. We pull back the bolt, let it go. Now I'll zoom in a bit to see better, especially where the shot lands. Okay, I'm high right, I'm 2 inches high and 3 inches to the right. Unfortunately, the scope is in mils, but the target is in inches. But then I can go down, let's go. Let's give 8 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 12 clicks to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's see where it goes now. Almost perfectly in the square. Maybe it's my mistake, but I'll try again. I think I calculated well. Damn it. I'll give it 2 more clicks to the left and 1 down. Let's see. As for elevation, I'd say we're still a bit to the left. Obviously, I'm out of ammo. Let's reload and continue. English doesn't have the double. Yes, English doesn't have it. It has a manual hold open, and you can add an automatic one since the magazine and gun are compatible, but it doesn't come with one from the factory. Today it's supposed to be 37 degrees. You can also hear the cicadas singing, "It's a beautiful summer day." Sure, I can use the hold open instead. Maybe just a little bit more, just a tiny bit. We should be fine with elevation today. With this, it was nice and centered. Nice. Small malfunction. Let's see. Okay. It's a very interesting lens, not just beautiful, but also offers great visibility and other benefits. What's the price? Because the recommended price for this lens, the last time I checked on their website, was 370 euros. Now, if you know anything about first focal plane optics, you know that's a very, 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 very low price. The point is that it's a good optic. The point is that you're not getting crap. That's what surprised me already when I saw it, I repeat. At Iwa at the fair, it was the optic that impressed me the most out of all of them. Because making a good optic, one that gives a clear view, that holds zero, as I'm seeing, that performs well even with the recoil of a .308 at that price is a very good thing.
I'll tell you, with this firearm, which by the way I went through a lot of trouble to fix up, it's definitely a very winning combination. Also because, I repeat, it allows for a very quick engagement with one. For closer targets, keeping both eyes open is almost like using a red dot. But it also allows, in fact, by zooming to the desired level, to have a much more precise shot on targets. Even at certain measured distances, with a 10x scope, you can start to see well enough to take shots. At 500 meters, you can reach up to 600 meters. Maybe I'm a good shooter, which is still absolutely within the limits of the ammunition, so that's a great thing from this point of view. What can I say? If you want to support me in a free way that doesn't cost you anything at all, remember to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hoping that this extremely hot summer doesn't stop me from doing more reviews because I'm dripping with sweat. I say goodbye to you, and as always, see you next time.